Hello, happy Sunday. It is Father's Day Sunday in my home while I'm recording, and I'm gonna make some chocolate chip and banana muffins. And this recipe is from Grains in Small Places. Pretty much all of our recipes that I've used have turned out wonderful, so they're my go-to. My kitchen is a little bit messy because we are still cleaning up from Father's Day at brunch, but I thought it'd be fun to have a nice little afternoon treat. So we're gonna get started. Okay, to start, we're going to get our dry ingredients together. So we do 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and this is my favorite brand. Actually, Grains in Small Places in most of our videos utilizes this one as well, if I'm correct, because it's one of the few that are aluminum free, which is great. So a teaspoon of that. Then a teaspoon of baking soda. And then for the flour, it is 250 grams of fresh milled flour, and on her recipe she has 125 grams of soft white and 125 of spelt, so 50-50. I actually started yesterday measuring out a bowl. Bring it over. A bowl of spelt and soft white for a batch of chocolate chip cookies that I like to make, but unfortunately I realized that I don't actually have enough butter to make this batch. But fortunately, the banana chocolate chip muffin recipe doesn't use any butter. It's actually olive oil. So I'm just going to take the grams that I had measured out and supplement with what I still need for this recipe and utilize what I already poured and started mixing. So my ratios aren't going to be exactly perfect between spelt and soft white as per the recipe recommends, just because I already have more soft white wheat in here than what I actually need. But again, I'm not going to waste it. So I zeroed out my scale and I'm adding 68 grams because in total that will get me to the 250 grams of flour that I need. All right, 68, 69, yeah, that's fine. Alright, so I use the Mock Mill 200. I really like it. I have great success with it. It grinds really nicely, and it's just quiet enough that I can run it while my son is napping, which is great. Alright, so my flour and dry ingredients are taken care of. I'm going to put that back on the back burner, per se. I got the oven preheating to 400, and the recipe calls for 2 to 3 overripe bananas mashed. My bananas are ripe, but they're not quite to the state that I normally like them for baking banana muffins or banana bread, but that's all right. What I'll do if I don't have quite as ripe bananas as I would like is I'll actually add in a little bit of this Honey Crisp applesauce that I love. So I find this at Costco. It's the North Coast Organic Honey Crisp applesauce, and there's no added sugars. The only ingredient is just organic apples, and it just adds a touch of sweetness because it's from the Honey Crisp apples. And so instead of doing the 2 to 3, meaning the 3, because my bananas are a little bit on the smaller side, I'm just going to add in a little bit of this applesauce to, one, add a little sweetness, and fill the void of that lack of the third banana. So I'm going to mash that up. Okay. So now, the next step is to combine all the wet ingredients. So we're going to do 1 cup of plain yogurt. So I have my plain yogurt. I like to make my own yogurt. I do a pretty long ferment actually because I like a thicker yogurt. Of course, as I'm going to pour this, you're going to see the liquid top, so it's not typically this thin. There we go. There's the nice thick stuff. So I do 18 to 22 hours in the instant pot on the yogurt setting on the ferment. I do the ferment high setting, and I do that with organic whole milk bread, bread on the brain, organic whole fat, like whole milk. All right, and then we are going to add in 1 egg, and it says a 1/2 cup of sugar or honey, and I prefer to bake with honey. We don't use granulated sugar typically in our home. So let's get ourselves an egg and some honey. For the sugar or honey, it's 100 grams. All right, bring over the handy dandy scale. I'm gonna measure out 100 grams here. Got a little bit left out of this one. I'm looking for insider opinions on what to do for storage for my large Dutch oven cast. Currently, I've just been doing it or keeping it in the oven when it's not in use, but I'm gonna be honest, it's quite a little redundant to be pulling it out every time I'm baking. But I don't really have a good storage option, especially because of the weight of it. And I noticed that items that are not out typically don't get used. So that's why I like to keep my mixer and my mill and everything out on the counter. All right, so we got our 100 grams of honey. Let's see, what's next? 113 grams or 1/2 cup of olive oil. Guess I do still need this. Let's get this. Zero it back out. All right, oil is 113 grams. Beep, beep, there we go. All right, 112, we'll take it. Teaspoon of vanilla. I'll probably do a little bit extra just because it makes me happy. I'll do like 1.5 teaspoons-ish. All right, got our teaspoon of cinnamon. And again, another one that I like to do a little extra. I have to say, I've never made muffins or any sort of baked goods with olive oil. I'm excited to try this. I think I'm gonna whisk this. The oil is not incorporating quite as I expected. All right, let's give these dry ingredients just a quick little fluff about. Alrighty. Alright, so brief intermission. My youngest puppy dog, in his excitement to greet my husband, barked my little boyo awake. So we popped this in the fridge. So it's actually been cooling off now for about an hour and a half. The downside is the baking soda and the acidity from the yogurt does interact pretty immediately. So my question is if it will still get its nice rise. I am going to put a little bit of this batter in the cupcake tin without chocolate chips, just so my toddler, who is not yet exposed to processed sugars, can have some. All right, I don't want to overmix this. I still have a little bit of dry flour here and there, but not large clumps. And that tends to be okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1/4 cup. Oh yeah, that batter looks nice, and I don't want to call it shaggy because it's not shaggy, but you know, it's not excessively incorporated. I am ready to get some chocolate chips put in here. The recipe calls for a cup of chocolate chips. I'm gonna do just under. All right. So I'm gonna get this incorporated. I really want to get some silicone baking cups. If you have any experience with them, let me know. What's up, baby? Did something break? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just saying some fun sounds? Uh-huh. Those are fun sounds. I would agree. Mama. Yes, baby. That is Mama's big water. Thank you, baby. Right. So, in these go 18 to 21 minutes. I'm gonna do on the higher side just because my batter is cold. All right, timer went on for 20 minutes. Let's see how these do. Oh, those look great. All right, it's been a couple hours and I am back to give these a taste. They've cooled down and they don't have a huge rise, but I am not discouraged. They look spectacular. They peel nicely. It looks like I might have baked them a little bit on the long side. You can see the darkening down near the base. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. Oh, that looks really nice. Those are delicious. Oh my gosh, those are good. I'll link the recipe below, and thank you for hanging out and baking with me. I will be back for some more. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little speechless. Those are delicious. So again, thank you for hanging out with me at Halfway to Homesteading, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh my god. I just wanted to show the difference. This is the batch of muffins that I made earlier in the video, and I made a second batch to be able to get some in the freezer. I went and got some more bananas, and I wanted to show the difference of the batter sitting a couple hours in the fridge due to my son waking up from his nap, and freshly baked batter. So in the video earlier, I had mentioned I was a little bit concerned with the acidity from the yogurt and the baking soda interacting and then no longer being quite as active and impacting the rise. And that is exactly what happened. But I do have to say, even the collapsed ones are really delicious still. But it's nice to have a true and true muffin top. A little bit more fluffy, but I just wanted to show the difference and show that the recipe that I followed does not produce flat muffins. That's just because I had to take a little intermission.